What is up, everyone? It is I, DPX here. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast DPX Talks for about an hour. This is the special annual DPX Talks for about an hour episode where I recap WrestleMania today. It's actually the day after WrestleMania. I usually, this is the third year in a row I've done this. Usually I do my, review and everything right after I see it. And last night I did actually, I'm on Eastern time, though, so it was, midnight when I did that, and I was pretty tired. It was kind of a long day before that, so, yeah, I did record my reactions, right after, the show went off the air, but, I was kind of rushing through it, and I didn't really like doing that. I want to take my time talking about these things, so, yeah, I'm doing it right now, but, yeah, WrestleMania, yeah, I just want to say this is a weirdly built WrestleMania. Some matches were built, sorry about that, but some matches were built very well. Some were not, but a lot of these matches did not seem like they should have been at WrestleMania. But now WrestleMania is here, night one. I'm doing night one. Then there's going to be a little break where I do night two. It's not going to be much of a break for you, but for me, it's going to be a break because it's just going to cut right into it. But, yeah, let's just get right into it, and, yeah. The night starts with, kind of an interesting match to start the night off. We have, Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs challenging the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Now, a lot of people thought this match would be a sleeper hit, but I didn't think it was, I wasn't really thinking this match should have started the show, but I'm like, they must produce some magic or something, they must be, they must have something here to start the show, and, I mean, they did good enough. It wasn't that bad. Yesterday when I did my reactions that never went up, I was a little more harsh on this match, and then I found out, for real, Rick Boogs suffered a quad injury. So, yeah, all best wishes to him. It kind of dampened the match a little bit. It turned it into, a 2-on-1 handicap. But, yeah, Rick Boogs, he did carry both the Usos at once, which was a really cool spot. But I think that's what tore his quad, which sucks, You have a chance to compete at WrestleMania, and you fucking tear your quad. Not only do you get injured, you get, that's your injury. A quad tear is fucking painful. I'm acting like I've experienced a quad tear, but we know, Triple H has experienced 2 different quad tears, and it's taken him out for a while. We've seen a lot of that happen, and they've been out for a while, so, yeah, best wishes to Rick Boogs. Which sucks, Rick Boogs and Nakamura, I didn't think they were going to win this. I want them to win, though, because they're such a fun act. But, yeah, I didn't think they were going to win this. I did think, the Usos, before this match was announced, I thought, WrestleMania, good place to get, to have the Usos lose the titles, if you know what I mean. You have these big, really dominant heels. You have them finally get dethroned at a place like WrestleMania. But then when they announced their opponents would be Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs, I didn't really... they didn't feel like the right people to take the belts off of the Usos. So, yeah, the Usos retained. Definitely expected. Yeah, best wishes to Rick Boogs once again, though. Unfortunate. This match, I feel like, could have been really good, but it was hampered by Rick Boogs' injury. Nakamura did his best on his own, but, yeah, it was a fine match for the circumstances. But, yeah, kind of a, yeah, you hear that bird in the back. No, kind of an... I don't know what type of word to use, but an interesting way to start WrestleMania, I feel. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Excuse me. Moving on. Is Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin. Not Baron Corbin. Happy Corbin. This was also a weird, like, I'm surprised this fucking feud has been going on for as long as it had. This does not feel like a WrestleMania feud. It does not feel like, this feels like a feud that should have had its blow off on SmackDown, rather than their biggest show of the year. But it's something to get. You're giving something for Drew McIntyre to do. Last year he was in a World Championship match. The year before that he was also in a World Title match, and the year before that he was in like a high profile match with Roman Reigns. They don't have much else for him to do. He's just probably gonna challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Champion, or the WWE Champion, I don't know, or Brock Lesnar. Let's see what happens. At the time of recording this, I've not seen Night 2 yet, because Night 2 has not happened. But by the end of this, we will be talking about the winner of that match. But yeah, I thought this match was alright. It's your typical two big men fighting each other at WrestleMania. It seems like what Vince McMahon likes, and I am minded. A lot of people like to hate on Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss, but I actually find their act pretty entertaining. Cause Madcap Moss especially, when he was Riddick Moss, he was the blandest fucking thing ever. There's just nothing to him. Now with that he's Madcap Moss, he's got he's got more charisma and shit. So yeah, there's more. He's entertaining. So is Happy Corbin. I was expecting Madcap Moss to turn against Happy Corbin. That didn't happen. We'll get into the ending of this match in a bit, or the ending, what happened after the match. Excuse me. And then Happy Corbin hit the end of days to Drew McIntyre, and the crowd was pretty they didn't seem too into this match for the majority of it. But Happy Corbin hit Drew McIntyre with the end of days, which is a very well-protected finisher who no one before this is kicked out of. And Drew McIntyre kicked out of it. Now, I wish, because I completely forgot this. I've completely forgotten no one has kicked out of that move. I wish, going into the story, they would have, brought that up, that no one has ever kicked out of this move. So, it didn't really feel like that big of a deal, if you know what I mean. But yeah, then Drew McIntyre gets a Future Shock DDT, Claymore, 1, 2, 3, he's the winner. And then after that, Madcap Moss goes up to, square up with Drew. But Drew grabs his Claymore and cuts the top two ropes of the ring off. And I was quite shocked. I'm obviously it's always shocking whenever you see the fucking ring break. But also it's Drew! There's still a bunch of other matches tonight. Dude, you just fucked up the ring for the rest of the night. Obviously he didn't, I know, but he kind of fucked up a bit of the time management. I'll get into that a bit later. But yeah, towards the end of the show, you can tell there was even a match that got cut. I'll get into my thoughts on the whole time management thing a bit later. But even other than that one cut match, you can kind of tell, they fucked up the time a little bit. Because, especially since, I don't know, it went a little past midnight for me, which didn't seem completely right. Yeah, so it just something seemed off about the time, and I didn't notice this, but apparently, it took them, 10 minutes to, rebuild the ring, which obviously, yeah, fuck up the ring. The ring's probably going to be, quite a bit to rebuild, but maybe it wasn't the smartest move, but it was an alright match. It was fine, perfectly fine for what it was. Yeah, next up is another match that was weirdly built. It is, it's a celebrity match. I don't know if I can really call this man a celebrity, but in terms of WrestleMania, he is definitely a celebrity appearance. But we got Rey and Dominik Mysterio taking on The Miz and Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul's, Logan Paul's, time in the WWE has been very, interesting. Last year at WrestleMania, he was there, I don't even know what he was supposed to do. He was just on the outside of the ring during, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And then he took a stunner from Kevin Owens, which led to the loudest pop of the night, I remember. And then he was at SummerSlam this past year, and he wasn't really a part of the show, but he was in the crowd, and the camera did cut to him a few times, and every time it did, the crowd just booed him excessively. It was, so they brought him back as a heel. He's all of a sudden good friends with The Miz, and he came, and he's actually not bad. He's actually pretty damn good. I've heard some people say he's better than Bad Bunny. I wouldn't say that. Bad Bunny was really solid, but then so was Logan. Logan Paul was really damn good. This was definitely a good match. I feel like the Nakamura and Boogs was, it never really got going because Rick Boogs suffered an injury, circumstances, yeah. And then Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin never really got going until Drew McIntyre kicked out at the end of days, but at that point the match was just about done. So this match was where shit kind of started to get going, where the adrenaline started to rush a little bit. And I don't even know what I just fucking said, but Logan Paul was pretty solid. And I feel like The Miz is a good guy for him to team with. The Mysterios are, Dominik is a little bit green still. A lot of people like to say Dominik Mysterio is shit. He's just green. Alright, I wouldn't call him shit. He's just green. That's all. But I definitely Rey Mysterio is a safe opponent for Logan Paul to work with. And I'm telling you, Logan Paul, he got a fuck ton of heat as well. Not only the fact that he's Logan Paul and people just don't want to see him here, but I think it's a great idea to have him as a heel, by the way. But so not only is he Logan Paul and people don't want to see him here, but also he got some genuine heel heat. You couple the fact that he's Logan Paul and people don't want to see him with the fact that with him doing the Three Amigos, which, can I just say, whenever a babyface does that, it's paying homage, but whenever a heel does that, it's a spit in the face. I just oh shit, a light went out. That's just something I noticed. Alright, so if you heard that pause or noticed that pause, yeah, that I just had a camera light go out, and it's not working. Great. So got one light working now. If you're listening to this on the audio version, you're confused, it doesn't bother you, but it just looks weird when I look at it. I don't even know if you watching notices, but as I was saying, Logan Paul very solid in the ring. Again, paired with some reliable wrestlers. Dominik Mysterio, I think, doesn't he's a bit underrated actually. A lot of people, like I said, he's just green, but a lot of people say he's very bad in the ring. But no, he's just green. But yeah, he did a great job in this match. And of course, Rey Mysterio and The Miz. The Miz, I don't think gets enough credit. The Miz is one, I think he might be one of the best heels in WWE, at least within the past, I want to say 10 years. Definitely one of the best heels. And, I don't think he gets enough credit. So yeah, all these four people put on a damn good match. The Miz and Logan Paul won, as you do when there's a celebrity in the match. They win, the celebrity wins. But then, unexpectedly, I was honestly expecting The Miz and Logan Paul, there's possibilities that Logan Paul is going to become, somewhat of a regular appearance here. So I was maybe The Miz and Logan Paul could become a tag team later on. The Miz does a skull-crushing finale to Logan Paul. And I think they're going to have a feud. Did The Miz turn babyface? Your first thought might be Logan Paul turned babyface, but The Miz then celebrated with the crowd. A heel doesn't celebrate with the crowd. A heel will, like, tease the crowd. They don't celebrate with the crowd. I don't know. The Miz might just turn babyface. Maybe this could be if they break out into a feud, maybe this could be a heel versus a heel program, but I don't know if that would really work. Like, a heel versus a heel program could work, but, like, you need the two right people to do it. A heel that is, excellent as a heel, and then a celebrity that no one really likes, that no one really wants to cheer. I don't know if that's a good heel versus heel program, but yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes next, and I thought this was a great match. Logan Paul coming out. I forgot to mention this. Logan Paul came out with his with a Pokemon card, a very rare Pokemon card. I don't really know what the whole deal with that was. With the controversy with the Pokemon cards, but, like, he did come out with a Pokemon card around his neck like a fucking necklace. Nuclear heat, probably, for those people that flamed him for doing that shit with the Pokemon cards last year, if they were watching. So yeah, very good match. But then the matches start to get just better and better, at least for this little bit. Excuse me. I believe next was when Stephanie McMahon came out and introduced Gable Steveson, and he's like, "Hey everyone," and then left. I feel like he could have said a few things, but yeah. Gable Steveson is, in case you guys don't know, he won. He's the Olympic gold medalist of the United States from last year, and he's already signed with the WWE. He's already drafted to Raw, so you can tell they got some plans for him, and I think they should give him, like, a mega push within his first year. Like, he should, actually he should win, like, the Royal Rumble next year, like, but just push this man, and it seems like they want to push him. I don't know if they're gonna push him that fast, but they might want to build him up, but, like, he's already an Olympic gold medalist. I feel like he's already got that credibility. You can have him come in and squash, like, a big name, and bada bing, bada boom. But yeah, kind of a weird segment, though. He just got introduced, said hi, then went back. Thanks for coming. Anyways, next match was probably one of the most anticipated matches of, I wouldn't call it the most, but definitely one of the most anticipated matches of this WrestleMania weekend. And it's one of WWE's few, they barely do long-term storytelling anymore. They kind of did here. Bianca Belair challenging Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Champion. Basically how the story goes, Becky Lynch had a long reign with the Raw Women's Champion, but had to vacate it due to maternity leave. She was out for like a little over a year. In that time, Bianca Belair won the Royal Rumble. She beat Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Champion at last year's WrestleMania in an absolute banger that I covered last year. That was a banger match. And then she held it all the way to SummerSlam, where Becky Lynch came back, squashed Bianca in like 20 seconds, and then they both got drafted to Raw, and Becky Lynch fucking swapped it was so stupid, but now she's the Raw Women's Champion again. And Bianca kind of went back down the card until she won the number one contenders match. I'm not going to do the fucking build up to every match, but I just thought the build up to this match, not this match particularly, not quite the build up from Elimination Chamber to this match, but just the whole story of this match, I thought was excellent. And I always thought, like, I was, before Becky, I don't mean to make it sound like, haha, I called it. I actually call a lot of these things, I guess a lot of these things right, but I never, I'd never make it a public. There's no, like, proof of me calling it. But I did actually once think to myself, you know what? Becky Lynch, this is before she returned at SummerSlam, Becky Lynch has done a lot on Raw. What if she goes to SmackDown and challenges Bianca Belair? Because those two would put on a damn good match. And she kind of did that at SummerSlam, but they didn't put on a damn good match. Then at Extreme Rules, they were putting on a damn good match, and then a DQ happened, bada bing, bada boom, and later on, now we got here, and I just want to say Becky Lynch, who looks completely different. She got that haircut, and this is now Dark Becky, I guess we can call her. The Dark Evil Becky, even though she's been evil, but now she's dark. This is Dark Becky. No, she came out of a van, which I thought was really cool. And then Bianca Belair entered to some musical performance to her song, to her theme, which I thought was excellent. She looked like a star entering to that. Excuse me. And then they went on to put a damn good match. I knew it. I knew they were gonna do little. They're going to do the match they had at SummerSlam, except Bianca was gonna kick out, and then they would proceed to have an actual fucking match. They did that, though. I wish I wish Bianca didn't look that stupid doing it. That's really my one gripe with this match. Like, Bianca, you gotta know, like, you gotta learn from experience. You like, she did, hesitantly, but still, she did, reach out her hand for a handshake, and, the entire match from SummerSlam happened, except a kick out, and an actual match went on. I feel like Becky should have, what I think should have happened was Becky maybe reach out for a handshake. Bianca tries to pull her, but then Becky ends up pulling Bianca and then does like the right hand or whatever, and then pins her, but then kicks out at 2. Just to like get everyone like, because for a second I was like, no fucking way. Just a quick second, I'm like, no, they're not doing that. And they didn't. So, yeah, they went on to have a damn good match. These are two very good performers. Bianca, I think, has only gotten better since she won the SmackDown Women's Champion last year. And, again, that was a banger match. And I would have said this was match of the night. But then there's a match right after this one, which I'll get into. And, like, it was... there was definitely, like, a lot of suspense building. Like, I knew Bianca Belair was going to win. She had to. Like, if she lost, it was like, you ain't getting another shot, you know? All that build-up, you know, all that long-term storytelling was for nothing, you know? But, like, there are times where, like, I actually thought Becky was gonna win. Especially with that KOD where Becky was holding on to the ropes. And Bianca did the KOD to the outside of the ring. That was really cool. And then, you know, like, the disarm her that turned into, like, a slam. That was cool. A lot of good and awesome shit in this match, for sure. And then Bianca Belair hits the KOD to a thunderous pop. 1, 2, 3 is your new Raw Women's Champion. This match was excellent. You know, again, I knew these two would put on a good match. These two are really good performers. They were never, like, allowed to put on, like, a good match, though, if you know what I mean. Before this, like, at SummerSlam they had a match, but then it ended in 20 seconds. At Extreme Rules, they were having a good match, and then Sasha Banks interfered. At Crown Jewel, they had a match, but also with Sasha Banks, which made it a triple threat match. That match was really good, don't get me wrong, but, like, these two, like, just these two in a singles match is what I kind of wanted to see, and we got that. We got a nice, long enough match. They did very well, and I think Bianca should have a nice long reign with the Raw Women's Champion. I'm interested. One thing I'm very interested to see is Becky Lynch not in the title picture. Like, yeah, maybe at Backlash they can have a rematch, but have Bianca win that. Have it seem like it wasn't just a fluke. Excuse me. And I want to see Becky Lynch in like a non-title program, you know, maybe find a tag partner and, you know, win the tag titles. Maybe add some stock to those belts, if you know what I mean. And like, and before she fights Ronda Rousey at next year's Mania, as will probably happen. Yeah, like, I'm interested to see Becky Lynch just away from the title picture, because that would be very interesting. She technically has not been away from the title picture since, like, she won the big one at WrestleMania 35. She's technically speaking, she's been in the title picture for 3 years. Like, when she left in the title picture, and when she came back, she went right back to the title picture. You know, and so that's a while. But yeah, a stellar match for sure. But then we get to match of the night, without question, and moment of the night as well. Seth Rollins versus Vacant. And, you know, basically the storyline here goes, Seth Rollins wanted an opponent for WrestleMania. He went through all these hoops. He challenges Kevin Owens to replace Kevin Owens to interview Steve Austin, which was really, like, why it's a fucking segment, but okay. And then he challenged AJ Styles to fight Edge. It was kind of, that part was kind of dumb. And then he had a meeting with Vince McMahon, and Vince goes, you know, you could just fucking ask me, you know. I found that funny. But yeah, then, you know, he has a match with a mystery opponent. And yes, the all the rumors, all the leaks, all the speculation was Cody Rhodes. You know, it was confirmed that this fucking overshadowed the news story that Stone Cold Steve Austin was coming back for a match, which we'll get into later. But this overshadowed that news. And like, fuck, my brain just froze. Right now, Cody Rhodes is leaving AEW. WWE very interested, and they were very interested. They signed Cody Rhodes, and for weeks and weeks and weeks, you know, you hear a bunch of Cody chants, and like there's a bunch of like, you know, hints towards Cody Rhodes. People saying smoke and mirrors, people saying like undeniable, you know, people saying nightmare, and then there were rumors that Shane McMahon was going to be at WrestleMania, and, you know, what if Shane McMahon came out and not Cody Rhodes? It's like, oh my god, everyone would have fucking, everyone's souls would have just left their body. That would have happened. But no. Seth Rollins is there waiting in the ring. The lights go out, and then you hear, wrestling has more than one royal family. I'm like, holy shit, this is Cody Rhodes from AEW. Like, I completely thought he was going to come out to Smoke and Mirrors, which is a bit of a bop, if I'm going to be honest. But no, he came out to his AEW theme, and like he has the American Nightmare nickname. It's like, holy shit, this is Cody Rhodes from AEW, you know. And when he's in the ring with Seth Rollins, it did not look real. It honestly looked like AEW and WWE crossing over. This looked like an AEW star in a WWE ring, which is technically what happened, but I mean, it just didn't. This isn't Cody Rhodes from WWE. This is Cody Rhodes from AEW, and it's like, holy shit! Like, they actually got, you know, his AEW theme. They got his AEW nickname. You know, this is the new Cody Rhodes, and the commentators said, like, within the 7 years that he was absent, he built himself up. He became a big name, and yeah. So now I just want to say, this one I did call, and you all can go back 2 episodes of this podcast ago, where I say if Cody Rhodes comes back and he has a match at WrestleMania, I think it's going to be against Seth Rollins, because what does he have going on? I don't like to be the one who does this, but I told you so. I fucking did. I fucking told you so, motherfucker. Alright, I don't know why I just swore you off, but thanks for listening, by the way. Anyways, yeah, so Cody Rhodes comes out to a thunderous pop. I don't know if it was just me, but I feel like, before I get into the match, because this was a fucking banger match, but before I get into the match, I feel like Cody Rhodes, something didn't seem right with him. I don't know if it was just me. He didn't look like he entirely wanted to be there necessarily. I don't know. It might just be me. I really, like, I don't know. I think, maybe he's just like, was this a good idea? Back on this schedule, I'm a sports entertainer now, not a wrestler. Just something seemed off about him, I felt. Not with his wrestling at all or anything, just, his facial expressions he didn't seem too excited, I feel. But, okay. Now on to the match. This was match of the night. Some are saying one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. Might be. Is it a Meltzer 5-star classic? I don't know. I don't see him giving it that, but I'm gonna give it a. I don't give wrestling matches scores. Anyways, they put on a good match. I noticed like a lot of matches, a lot of WWE matches. And I like both WWE and AEW. Unfortunately, on the internet, you're not allowed to have both, but fuck you, I do. But I do notice a lot of these WWE matches are sports entertainment matches. Like, you can tell that some of them are, they're looking more for like sports entertainment than wrestling. This was a wrestling match. These two had a wrestling match. Seth Rollins, he seemed shocked and everything, and then later on he's like, okay, now I can trash talk this guy. Welcome to the big leagues, bitch. Bit of a jab at AEW there, by basically implying that they're not the big leagues. But they just had a fantastic match. I thought, Cody, I said I don't know if he looks really good, in the sense that I don't know if he looks like he's entirely convinced he wants to be there, but like, if you didn't pay attention to his facial expressions at all, and you just looked at what he did in the ring, you would not think this at all. Because like, no one fucking cares about his facial expressions. It's just because he fucking, it looked like, obviously, we know why, but it looked like he hadn't missed a beat, because he's been wrestling all this time. But, like, I guess in kayfabe, he hasn't wrestled for, like, 7 years or however long it's been since he was, in the company. He hasn't wrestled for 7 years in kayfabe, I guess. So, in that sense, he's not missed a beat. I'm interested to see, just Cody being a part of the WWE roster. I think it would be foolish to not give him a run with the title, the world title, sometime this year. You got to start from AEW, not any star. You got one of the stars that helped make AEW. You want to ensure that they made the right decision by going to WWE. You give them a run at the top. That's what you fucking do. With the unification, I guess, of the Universal Champion and the WWE Champion, you introduce a new belt on Raw. Maybe have him be that inaugural champion. That's I don't know. Maybe you say that. Or maybe you have Seth Rollins do that, and you give these two a rematch with more of a build, and you have Cody Rhodes become the inaugural champion at SummerSlam. This match was, I don't think I can really do it justice. They had a banger, with the finishers, Cody Rhodes hitting the pedigree, Cody Rhodes hitting the three crossroads to Seth Rollins, as a nod to Dusty Rhodes. It was a fantastic match. They, definitely one of Seth Rollins' best matches at WrestleMania. This might be Cody Rhodes' best match at WrestleMania, although, it's not saying a whole lot. He hasn't had... I can't even recall many of his other Mania matches, but it's like, this... I'm interested to see more of Cody Rhodes, especially since he's gonna be, he's with WWE now. So that's very interesting. And they didn't give him the Sting treatment. They didn't give him the WCW let's just keep burying them treatment. I didn't think so, because that was after WCW had already closed their doors. So it's like, haha, where are you gonna go now? Let me bury you. No, if he buried Cody Rhodes and Cody wanted to leave, he could just go back to AEW basically. And I think they know that. So Cody Rhodes did a fantastic job, and even though it's like you have to have Cody win, just like with Becky and Bianca, where you had to have Bianca win. But a few times I thought Becky was gonna win. A few times here I thought Seth was gonna win. But no, they had Cody win. Fantastic bout. Cannot wait to see. I think these two will definitely have another rematch. I can't wait to see it. So yeah. Next up, there seemed to be quite a bit of time in between this match and the next match. There's the Hall of Fame induction thing, which was really cool. Then we get Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. Definitely the most disappointing match of the night, I must say. I think this is the only match that was just straight up bad of this first night. But I'll get into that. This build-up was odd. Everyone wants to see Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch, and we didn't get that, because that's apparently going to happen next year. So they did Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair, and they had Charlotte Flair beat Ronda Rousey, and I don't get why. Why did they do that? But it wasn't even... Okay, they had... they put on a decent match, but it felt like a mostly heatless affair for the most part, if you know what I mean. Like, not much... I feel like there wasn't much that happened. Charlotte Flair had like a wardrobe malfunction where the screen turned to black twice. That's one of the only things I remember. But then I don't know, you had your typical ref bump. You had your fucking Ronda Rousey pinning Charlotte Flair to a 3 count, but Charlotte had her fucking foot on the rope. And after the 3 count, the ref was like, No, that was not 3. Like, you counted 3. Ronda Rousey won the match twice. It's sports entertainment-y, but it was, so you have a match where, the crowd weren't really into it. The match never really got going, and the wrong person won. Charlotte Flair should not have won this match. And look, a lot of people hate Charlotte Flair. I think, look, a lot of people hate her because she gets shoved down your throats. But she always wins the title, But in a sense, it's like, who else are you gonna really have do that? Yeah, there's Becky Lynch. I guess there's Sasha Banks, but I don't know. I feel like, you can't... Charlotte Flair's been probably built up to be, the most reliable, woman to have, be this multi-time women's champion. So, yeah, Give me a second. And you also gotta understand, while she's held the title many times, she's won the title many times, that also means for as many times as she's won the title, she's also dropped it just as many times. So, yeah, but, like, can someone please tell me, other than a swerve, other than swerving us, can someone please tell me why Charlotte Flair won this match? Because I don't see why. I don't understand. Because, like, sorry, I thought I heard someone enter. You have Ronda Rousey come back, a big name, big established, like, UFC fighter, and, she had a very long reign as Raw Women's Champion. She, took years off. You have her come back and book her dominantly. And her first big match since coming back, you have her lose? Like, I get it. Maybe you have them have a rematch at Backlash and, and at that point you have Ronda win. But it's like, of every match you could have, like, a lot of these matches I'm sure we're going to see rematches for at Backlash, but, like, of all these matches, this one seems like the least, like, why would you do it with this one? Why would you, like, obviously you could still do a rematch with this, but why would you have this be, like, yeah, you make Ronda Rousey seem, you protect her by having the ref knock the fuck out, but it's also, like, it's just frustrating. It just happens so often. Shut up, phone. Seriously. You have this happen so often. The ref bumps. Ronda Rousey should have won this match fucking twice over. It's just so stupid. I don't... Swerve, yeah. But, like, I don't know. I guess part of me just also likes the title changes at WrestleMania, in which there was one at this night of WrestleMania. Usually, there was just one whole title change. There's definitely going to be one other title change on night 2 because of the title unification match. So one of those titles bound to change. But, like, 2 whole title changes this WrestleMania probably. I can't really think of... and the women's titles I think are going to change. But, I mean, like, I just... you're probably wondering, DPX, why haven't you really gotten into the match itself? Because I don't really remember what happened in the match. I don't know if I was, like, dirt tired when I watched this, or if the match was really that forget. I don't mean to, like, I don't like to say oh, these two, they did a fucking terrible job, because they are 2 performers, they are, they did try. So I don't want to just say they were absolute shit. You guys do have to understand, these wrestlers are people too, there's, you could give criticism, but you can't just be like, you two are the worst fucking people ever, you guys are terrible, like, they're wrestlers, they're real people, so do understand that. And I don't even think their match not being that good, I don't even think it's their fault, really. I don't know, they did... the reason why this wasn't the main event was because WWE thought it was... reportedly, they thought it was doomed if it was going to go on after Kevin Owens and Steve Austin. I thought it might have been doomed if it went after both Cody and Seth and Becky and Bianca. 2 banger matches in a row, and then you have this, which felt more like a cool-down match. So, yeah, it was a disappointing match. I thought these 2 would have a decent match. I listened to Bryan Alvarez before, and he said that he thought they were going to have a bad match. I'm like, they're not going to have a bad match. God damn it, Bryan Alvarez, why are you a fucking, like, wizard? But yeah, disappointed in this match, but Ronda's gonna win the title. Like, they can't, like, Ronda Rousey's one of their few women stars that, like, that they actually care to build up enough. Like, not even someone like Sasha Banks is like that they are really as consistent with Ronda Rousey. You know, it's Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky that they're really consistent with, for the most part. So, like, she's definitely. I don't even think they're gonna wait till like SummerSlam. They're like Ronda Rousey I feel like should win at Backlash, but she should have fucking won at Mania. But yeah, disappointing match. Then we get to one of the best built up things at WrestleMania, and I say things because this was a match, as we know, but it wasn't built up as a match. It was built up as an episode of the KO show, one of Kevin Owens, you know, his show that he does. But yeah, it was, and Kevin Owens kind of built this match all by himself. Steve Austin never appeared on Raw or anything. It was just KO, and he did a damn good job building it up. You know, he's a natural heel. He's been a babyface for. I thought he was a good babyface, but damn, did I forget how good of a heel he was until this program. You know, and he had a fuck ton of heat. Like, he's trying to speak. He gets like the reaction that Roman Reigns got the night on the Raw after WrestleMania 33, I think it was, where he beat the Undertaker. It was a very similar reaction that KO got. He deserves a run with the world title, I believe. Why did I just say that? But no, he definitely deserves that. He's making fun of Texas. He's making fun of Steve Austin. I don't really understand his all of a sudden hatred for Texas and his sudden hatred for Steve Austin, but Steve Austin comes out to a thunderous pop. Everyone, you know, it just definitely the loudest pop of the night. Of course, it's Steve Austin in Texas. He comes out. They have a little, you know, he comes out in his like dirt bike. I think I'm not that good with vehicles, sorry, but at least that. But he comes out in his thing, and I was expecting him to come out in a big old beer truck, but whatever, he did not. And him and Kevin Owens we're talking. You know, Steve Austin called Kevin Owens a bitch, a sack of shit, an asshole, probably like 5 times each. And the crowd fucking ate it up. I feel like this might have, it was, oh, well, actually, I'll say what I was about to say a bit later. But, then, Kevin Owens said, I just want to say, I don't mean to be like, you know, I called this, I think it was rather easy to predict that they were going to have a match. But, when they announced a KO show, I did not think they were going to have a match, but then they put so much stock into it. They put so much into this segment, and there were rumors that this was going to be the main event. You know, it's like, they're not going to end WrestleMania on a segment. That's not going to happen. And then there are rumors they're going to have like a 6-minute brawl. It's like, they're going to have a 6-minute brawl without like a bell ringing and a ref there. They're going to have a match. It might be a 6-minute match that might not go anywhere, but they're going to have a match. Kevin Owens, as kind of predicted, says, I actually wanted to have a match with you. But he said, I want to have a no-holds-barred match with you. I was hooked. And, like, it's at that point, you know, they're going to have a match. Steve Austin's going to have his first match since before I was fucking born, I think. I think his last match was before I was brought into this world, actually. Yeah, I'm a young boy. I'm younger than Steve Austin's last ever match. Think about that. But no, yeah, like, by a few months, okay? But, yeah, it was definitely exciting. And look, did they have the best match of the night? No. They had, like, this match was definitely not as good as Cody and Seth, and it was definitely not as good as Bianca and Becky. It probably was not even it was probably on par with the Mysterios and Miz and Logan Paul. But it's just the moment, it's just the reaction, it's just the pop, you know, that made this match probably one of the highlights of, maybe the highlight of the night. Definitely, it might have been, for the crowd, it might have been the highlight of the night. And it was a great ass match. They had a damn good match. They went all over. Steve Austin taking a suplex on the concrete, you know, his back. I kind of winced watching that. You know, it was like watching Edge perform those spears with his head hitting the ground when he came back at the Royal Rumble. It's like, Edge, I don't know. It's like same thing here. Austin took a fucking suplex onto the concrete, hitting his back. It's like, whoo, you good there, buddy? That's your back is one of the reasons you retired for 19 years. Excuse me. Yeah, and they had a good match. We hear you still got a chance for Steve Austin, and yeah, he did. He wrestled like, you know, he never missed a beat. Like, I don't know, just watching Stone Cold wrestle in 2022. It's something I never thought I'd see. I never thought I'd see fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestle in 2022. Cody Rhodes in the WWE in 2022. And, like, think about that for just a second. Like Cody Rhodes and Steve Austin were both wrestled on the same night. Like, and both in 2022 of all years. Fucking woof. You know, no, woof means it's bad. No, fucking arc? No, another dog sound? What am I saying? But this was, it was entertaining. You didn't think for a second that Austin was gonna lose. They're not sending the crowd home like that. Although that would have, like, if KO beat Austin, the reaction he would have gotten on Raw. Holy shit, he would have not been. He might have gotten killed. You know what? He probably would have been able to make it to Raw. He might have gotten killed at WrestleMania. You know, someone, like, it would have been like what they used to do with heels when they throw shit at them. They throw, like, tomatoes or something. Except someone would have thrown a fucking dagger at him and killed him. If he actually beat Steve Austin. This match was, again, it's not as good as Cody and Seth. It's not as good as Becky and Bianca. But it was damn good. The crowd made it better. The moment made it better. The fact that it was Stone Cold's first match in 19 years, and he had some ring rust, all right, as you do if you haven't wrestled in 19 years. But, like, he's still, like, you know, if he wanted to come back and start wrestling as, like, you know, a big draw for WrestleManias, you know, he could do that. I don't think he's going to do that. I think they made a big deal about this being his final match. But I don't never say never, I guess. But yeah, like, if he wants to start wrestling part-time as, like, you know, be a big draw for WrestleMania, I wouldn't complain. Because he had a good match with Kevin Owens in 2022. So yeah, that was my review for night one. I said I was going to talk about the time management thing here. You can tell, like, this went, like, on Peacock, on the bottom left-hand corner, it said, like, you know, it had the time that it was going at out of 6 hours. So this was supposed to be 6 hours long, and it went a few minutes over 6 hours, which is, I mean, a couple of minutes over 6 hours is fine, I guess. But it's like, a match got cut from this. I want to talk about that for a second. A match got cut, and that was Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus. And I'm not going to act like I was too excited for this match, you know. Oh my god, I cannot wait to see this. But it's not fair for the wrestlers involved, you know. Especially since they're at WrestleMania, you know, like someone like Ridge Holland, who, yes, I'm he injured Big E, probably has a lot of heat on him, but like, you know, it's his first WrestleMania, you know. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods and Sheamus, they've been at WrestleMania for a while now, you know, and they've been really really entertaining for this past year. They deserve a spot at WrestleMania. You know, hopefully for their sake they get they get their match rescheduled tonight, perhaps on the pre-show if they don't have time on the main show. But yeah, like, they need to do a better job at the like time management thing. There's too many promo packages here. You know, there didn't need to be this many, and like I get when Drew McIntyre broke the ropes of the ring. It took a little bit for them to, you know, fix it. It took about 10 minutes. That's why there was a big gap in between that match and the Logan Paul match. But that's another thing. Steve Austin, Cody Rhodes, and Logan Paul all on the same fucking match card. What the fuck? But yeah, still, I feel like, you know, it's not fair to the wrestlers in that match that got cut. You know. But yeah, that was my thoughts on night one. Night one was a pretty decent night. I feel like this one had a lot of the more anticipated matches. Tonight, at the time of recording, because I'm doing this the day after night one of WrestleMania. So later tonight, at the time of recording, later tonight will be night two of WrestleMania. And you know, I'm really looking forward to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I'm really looking forward to Edge versus AJ Styles. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville should be a fun match. But I feel like this night one had a lot of the more exciting matches. But I'm interested to see night two, and I'll be back in about 12 hours, I'd say. But if you guys, more than 12 hours if it ends at the same time. It's like 11 o'clock right now. It's 13 hours. For me. 13 hours for me. For you, it'll be like 3 seconds. Whoa, hey everyone, it is me. Like 12 hours later. Whoa. I don't know why I started it like that, but yeah, I'm back. WrestleMania Night 2, baby. I just want to say, I remember at the beginning of this, I said, like, Cody Rhodes did not look very, into it. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I rewatched the match and I saw all the backstage interviews. He seems very happy. I didn't want comments, and I also kind of felt bad for saying that almost, because it's not true. But yeah, I just want to say that. But yeah, so hold on, I'm just bringing up the matches. Probably should have done that beforehand. What's wrong with me? Excuse me. Now this time is right after the show. The show just ended. Like, it just went off the air a few seconds ago. I just watched it. And yeah, let's just get right into this. Thankfully, this Night 2 was not nearly as long as Night 1. I do think Night 1 had a few better matches than Night 2, but we'll get into the matches. But thankfully, Night 2, even though it had more matches, it had like actually 2 more matches. One was an impromptu match, but even though I had more matches, it's like this show was still a lot shorter than last night's. That was probably, because they cut down the promo packages, and all that shit. Like, they didn't give every fucking match a fucking promo video. Alright, first up, the Raw Tag Titles. RK Bro, which is the team of Matt Riddle and Randy Orton, versus the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy. Now, oh shit, I just hit the fucking desk. I thought this match was very awesome. I thought it took a little bit to get going, and one thing I did actually really like was, you get a triple threat tag match a lot of them are just like 2 of the 6 people in the match in the ring. The team that's out has to tag the other team to get in. That's stupid. Just have 3 people in the ring and then have them all have to tag each other out, That's what they did. They did that, and I like that. So, yeah, that was cool. And they put on a really good match. This was definitely a good match to start night 2 with. The night 1 had unfortunate circumstances hit. Rick Boogs had an injury, but other than that, this was definitely a much better start to the show. Oh shit! Wait, no. I forgot. I guess I'll get into. I forgot that the whole Triple H thing that happened before this match, but I guess since I'm already talking about this match, I'll get into that afterwards. The match ended with 2 very cool spots. Montez Ford went up to the top rope to deliver one of his fantastic frog splashes, but then Matt Riddle goes up, does an RKO, and then Chad Gable goes up to the top rope for a moonsault. Randy Orton gives him an RKO, and it's like, fuck, 2 RKOs. It was crazy. So yeah, definitely a great match. And then the post-match celebration. There's a post-match celebration with RK Bro and the Street Profits, and then they're gonna have a toast. And then Gable Steveson was in the crowd. Remember Gable Steveson from yesterday, who popped up for 5 seconds, like, "Hey everyone, hi, hello, alright, bye." Yeah, remember him? He's back. They called him up to for a toast, and he was about to. Then Chad Gable comes in, knocks the water out of his hand, and then Gable Steveson suplexes Chad Gable. A very, very cool, very nice moment, to be sure. Finally you have Gable Steveson. Why can't I say his name? It's like a very easy name to say, but finally you have Gable Steveson do something. And yeah, it was a solid match, and yeah, really enjoyed it. Okay, what happened before this though? Well, I don't know how much I can really say about this, but Triple H came out, and in case you're not sure, somehow, if you're fucking watching this and you don't know, you have to not be a fan of wrestling in order to be watching this and not know about the whole Triple H situation. But Triple H came out, and he, a few weeks ago, he announced that he had retired due to medical reasons. That he almost escaped. He almost died, which is pretty scary. And it was a very emotional. I guess. I mean, it wasn't. Triple H, he didn't give out a retirement speech, which I kind of thought he was going to. That would have been an interesting way to start WrestleMania, but everyone's all chanting "Thank you, Hunter," and he goes out there and goes, "No, thank you." And without further ado, welcome to WrestleMania. So that was nice. I guess it was a good way to start this. Triple H is definitely one of the earliest wrestlers I watched, so yeah, this was a nice moment to see him actually get a moment of retirement almost. I do think he should be in the ring giving some sort of speech with the crowd not even letting him speak because they're chanting "Thank you, Hunter" so much, which kind of happened. I actually do feel like he was supposed to say a little more than he ended up saying, but then the crowd sort of I'm not blaming them. It's gonna sound like I'm blaming them. No, they were respecting him so much, and it's You know what? Just welcome to WrestleMania, everyone. So, yeah. But yeah. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Triple H. For sure. Definitely a Hall of Famer for sure. Has to be in next year's Hall of Fame class. Without a doubt. Like, what are you doing if he's not in that? Like, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-fucking-brainer. Alright, next up, as I pull up... how come this fucking list is not in order? Next up is a match that had a whole, like, 2 days of build-up, basically. Oh, my, OBS almost just crashed there. Okay, it had a whole 2 days of build-up. Omos and Bobby Lashley. I did not expect Bobby Lashley to be here. Because, you know, he was injured. He got injured at, Elimination Chamber. And, you know... No, he got injured at Royal Rumble, I believe, but he went into Elimination Chamber with an injury and took, like, no bumps at all. And kind of robbed us of a cool appearance in the Chamber, if I'm going to be honest. But, you know, injury, whatever. Should have just vacated it rather than, fucking... Whatever, that's a different conversation. Well, he and Omos had a match. Omos has been built up as this unstoppable, you know, big man. And, you know, Bobby Lashley has been stoppable, but he's been very difficult to stop, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, sorry about that. So this match, you know, it's not trying to be a 5-star classic. The story is, Bobby Lashley just knocked Omos off his feet, oh no. And Bobby Lashley manages to get a fucking suplex out of Omos. And fucking beats him. I did not think Bobby Lashley was going to beat Omos. I really didn't. But he did. And yeah, this match wasn't crazy or anything. It was a perfectly fine match. It did what it needed to do. I don't think I can say they buried Omos. You know, the rumor was that they're gonna have Gable Steveson actually have a match here, and he was supposed to squash Omos. That would have hurt Omos, I feel. You know, because I mean, it would have been great for Gable Steveson, but it would have not been so good for Omos. Omos, he was presented as an actual challenge for Lashley. And, you know, I feel like Lashley did kind of need this win after, you know, being out for a while. But, yeah, hopefully, I don't mind Omos too much. So hopefully he doesn't go down the card. And he seems like exactly what Vinnie Mac wants. So I don't think he's going down the card. But yeah, so next up, I think this might have been the highlight of the fucking night. This match was just pure insanity. It's not a fucking Meltzer 5-star classic, but holy shit, it's a different type of 5-star classic, if you know what I mean. Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville, why was this match so good? Basically, I don't even want to say they had a match. Instead, they basically just had an episode of Jackass. You know, this was an episode of Jackass that featured Sami Zayn and took place in front of a WrestleMania crowd. That's what this match was. And, sorry, there's this fucking train in the back. I don't know if you can hear it, but it hasn't fucking shut up. But, no, this was... I mean, I was laughing my ass off. Let me read you some of the tweets I did. I'm low-key excited to see Johnny Knoxville in a match with Sami Zayn. That was before the match started. Wee Man just body slammed Sami Zayn. This is one of the funniest fucking wrestling matches I've ever seen. This match is just an episode of Jackass. That might have been the best thing I've ever seen. What did I say that about? Oh no. I don't know. That was when the match ended. I'm like, this might have been the best thing I've ever fucking seen. Because it was. I think it was. This wasn't the best wrestling match on the on the show. This wasn't the best match on the show, but holy shit, this was so entertaining. I was laughing my ass off. It's just so stupid. Wee Man got got to fucking body slam Sami Zayn, and the commentators were having fun with it too. I think that might have been why I was laughing so much, because Pat McAfee and Michael Cole were having a blast on commentary, and the one dude, I forget his name, but the one dude who had a thong on, Pat McAfee is like, I would say that's the first time I've seen his ass cheeks, but it's not, because I haven't watched Jackass. I haven't watched the show. The movies are good. I haven't watched the movies. I haven't even seen the more recent one, but I'm assuming he fucking shows his ass on the show for like in every episode, pretty much. So yeah, I was expecting Johnny Knoxville to take some bumps. I was expecting him to jump off a very big ladder, because he's Johnny Knoxville. He takes all these fucking crazy bumps. But he barely took any bumps. It was mostly Sami Zayn taking the bumps, taking the bowling ball to the nuts, taking the boot to the nuts, taking the mousetrap, the giant mousetrap, which, by the way, he got pinned with his shoulders on the mousetrap, not on the floor. Just want to point that out there. So technically, Sami Zayn is... Well, I don't want to say he's the winner, but he hasn't lost this match yet. But... Look, it's definitely, it was, I fucking love this match. Match of the night. Yeah, I think it might have been the match of the night. Yeah, this is that fucking train, holy shit. But yeah, I think this was match of the night, without question. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I really don't. I don't even think I'm doing it justice. Look, once again, a lot of people are going to hate this match. That's fine. Was this match as good as last night's, Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch? No, it was not. Was it as good as Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes? Definitely not. But holy shit, I just can't. This match is just so fun. I was laughing my ass off. It's just like they actually fucking did this this is it was so fun. I love this match. Okay. Next up is the women's tag title fatal 4-way match, which seems to almost be like a mishmash of bunch of randomly thrown together teams. Case in point, you got Carmella and Zelina Vega, which, surprisingly enough, when they won the tag titles, they were actually kind of an established duo, versus Sasha and Naomi, who have some prior history, but they're still kind of a randomly thrown together tag team, versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, which is another randomly thrown together tag team, versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler, which is another randomly thrown together tag team. Now, this match was fun. It wasn't anything crazy. You had some high spots, which were cool. Sasha Banks and Naomi, I forgot to say, in the notes I took, and by notes I mean tweets, I fucking posted a long thread, alright? No, Sasha and Naomi, with the entrance in that car, that was really cool. Sasha has had some very cool WrestleMania entrances. Like, last year she had a good entrance. Who can forget the one with Snoop Dogg? This year she had a pretty cool one, too. I think I speak for everyone that she kind of deserved a little more than just a women's tag title match. So, I think it was good that her and Naomi got this win, because it was the least she deserved for WrestleMania. But, it snapped her giant losing streak that I don't think was ever acknowledged by WWE, but I feel like it should have been, and it should have been a story. On the one hand, yeah, you're not going to have Sasha do anything meaningful, at least have her win this match, But I feel like the whole losing streak thing should have been a storyline of a singles feud. That's what I think. But other than that, this was definitely solid. Often I would often forget that Natalya and Shayna Baszler were in this match. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan were pretty solid in this match. Carmella and Zelina Vega, I was expecting them to split after this match, which they still might, but I was expecting there to be like a post-match angle of them like fighting each other and not being a tag team anymore. There probably will be tomorrow night, but yeah, decent match. Not too much more to say about it though. Oh yeah, I did tweet here. Sasha Banks and Rhea Ripley, who kind of started the match. Oh yeah, by the way, remember earlier when I said, I thought I liked it how in that Raw tag title triple threat match there was a you had the 3 people start in the ring as opposed to 2 of them. Yeah, this match you didn't have 4 of the women starting in the ring. You had 2. The fuck? Why? I don't know. It's not even that big of a deal. I don't know why I'm making a big deal out of it, but I'm making a big deal out of it regardless, okay? Excuse me. So, yeah, no, as I tweeted, Sasha and Rhea, who started the match, I feel like they should have like a singles program. They should be in a singles because they are 2 really good wrestlers, and they can. I feel like they would put on a damn good match together, but I don't know. We'll have to see that maybe down the line. All right. Next up is. This one kind of disappointed me because I feel like it never really... It was a decent match, but I feel like it never really got going. And when it did, when it started to get going, when it started to pick up, it ended. But AJ Styles versus Edge, which I've seen some Twitter discourse that, this match... some people saying this match sucked. Other people attacking the people that are saying it sucks. It's like, can we just... are you not allowed to have a fucking opinion on Twitter? That's the issue. We're on Twitter. Okay. You're never allowed an opinion on Twitter. Because when people say you're not allowed an opinion on the internet, let's be real. They're really talking about Twitter. Me on this podcast, if I share an opinion, I'm allowed to have that opinion. Me on Twitter, if I share an opinion, I am not allowed to have that opinion. I have to have the popular opinion, not my own opinion, the popular opinion. So that's my thoughts on Twitter. Moving on to Edge versus AJ Styles now. The build up to this match was dog shit for sure. Edge's dark character, not gonna lie, was a little funny, unintentionally, and shut up, phone. This is the second time in this episode, and he's using words like a mountain of omnipotence, and on the one hand, it's like, wow, Edge is a good actor because during his retirement, he did a little bit of acting, so that's why he's so good at promos. But he's like, wow, Edge, you a good actor, big words. But on the other hand, it's like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm a small-brained individual, okay? I don't know what omnipotence means. I've heard the word before, but every time I hear that word, I'm like, what the fuck does that? Fuck you. You want to know what I'm going to do? I'm going to search up, omnipotence. I don't even know how to spell the word. I'm gonna do a voice thing. I can't do what. You suck. Fuck it. It doesn't matter. We're talking about Edge versus AJ Styles. I thought this match didn't really need a good build up, because you got Edge, definitely a fantastic wrestler. He's still got it. He's one of the few part-timers in WWE that A, isn't really a part-timer. He's there kind of full-time, and B, you feel like your stock raises if you fight Edge, if you know what I mean. Like, that was fucking loud. That train has not stopped. But there it is again. Fuck you. Shut up. But like, you see guys like Goldberg, it's like, if you fight Goldberg, it seems like the booking team has booked you into a corner, you know? Yeah, you don't get that with Edge. Edge usually is given dream opponents, you know, with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and The Miz. But AJ Styles, who, by the way, I saw... He came out and he entered with like a cut on his face, and he was bleeding. It's like, holy shit, what happened? I saw a video from the crowd. It's kind of funny. I feel bad for laughing, but AJ, if you're watching this, you're not watching this, or are you? Hi AJ Styles, if you're watching this, but look, I'm sorry, but watching the little video of you walking right into the fucking, like, I don't even know what to call that, the entrance, was kind of funny. I'm sorry for laughing. You're a great wrestler, but this match never. I don't want to call it bad. You know, people were like, you know, afraid this was going to turn out like Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles, which had a fuck ton of hype behind it, but ended up being fine. But based on how hyped up it was, just fine was not good. But then, you know, this one didn't seem as hyped as it probably should have been, because a bad build can really kill a match. And this match had a really bad build. But I still was very excited for this, but not much happened. I can't... Okay, you're probably wondering why I'm, like, ranting about things that are not the match. It's because I don't really remember what happened in them. Let me go, look at my tweets. AJ already bleeding, though. This match is pretty solid, because it was solid. It wasn't... solid... I don't know. Solid doesn't really line up with everything I'm saying. But it was a decent match. Let's see, now this match is starting to pick up. There are some near falls, and then, oh yeah, the ending. I actually remember, last night, remember when I told you, like, I was doing the night one recap, and then I was like, I'm not into this right now. I'll do it in the morning. Yeah, right after I scrapped that recording, I saw some reports saying that Edge wants to, that WWE are giving Edge a new stable, possibly with Damian Priest and Tommaso Ciampa. Damian Priest came in and distracted AJ Styles, gave Edge the win. And, you know, Damian Priest, I think, had a really good year last year. He had a very solid, dominant run with the universe. No, not there yet, but with the United States champion. And he, you know, once he lost the U.S. title, it seemed like he was going to have a match at Mania, but then he was thrown in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which felt like sort of, oh no, they're not going to push Damian Priest. But if he's getting paired up with Edge, who's seems to be making his own Ministry of Darkness now, yeah, no, you're giving something good for Damian Priest to do. And if Tommaso Ciampa, if the rumors are to be believed that he's going to be in the group as well, that's a pretty good way to introduce him, because, you know, you give him something to do after his long run in NXT. You pair him with Edge. I think he's destined for good things. Yeah, but still the finish, like the post-match sort of stuff with Edge and Damian Priest walking away, that was cool and all, but like the finish with Damian Priest just, you know, being there, and AJ Styles just like, what are you doing here? Whoa, I lost the match. That was fucking stupid. I don't know, this match disappointed me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get some flack if this is on Twitter, you know. I'm gonna get some flack, but fuck you guys. I'm allowed to have my own opinion. I was really excited for this match. This was actually one of my more anticipated matches, and then it's sort of just it's not that good. They had a good enough match, but like, I don't know. I feel like these two could have put on a banger, and they didn't. All right, next up is last night's canceled match. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, who for some reason they are not really calling the New Day. They're calling them Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods for some weird reason. Versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus, who had a match so quick I don't know if I can really tell you anything that happened. Let me read you some of the tweets I made here. Kofi and Xavier paying tribute to Big E. My thoughts go out to Big E. He a few weeks ago he did have his neck fucked up with that suplex on the outside. Like he landed on his head, and not only did he land on his head, he landed on it hard. Like, I wouldn't suggest you go back and watch that, because he landed hard. I think I just froze for you guys, by the way, because I was looking at the timer, and the timer didn't move for, longer than it should have, but whatever. He landed on it hard. So, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, wearing Big E's singlets. Apparently it's the same design that Big E wore when he won the WWE champion. I mean, I don't know how you really pick up on that necessarily, but good on you, commentary. So basically, the match went as nothing happened. I actually don't know why this was here. They couldn't have slipped this into last night. I mean, tonight it was fine to have it tonight, but like really they couldn't slip it into last night. Like they had to cut this out. They clearly must have cut more than just this match out of last night, right? Because this match I don't think this match would have saved that much time. What happened? Basically, the whole match was Butch. I'm not calling him Butch. Pete Dunne, wanting to fight. I don't like the fact that Pete Dunne is like, I like this stable. I like the Irishmen. That's what I'm gonna call them. Even though I don't think Pete Dunne is Irish, but fuck you. I like this stable. These three. But I don't like how A, Pete Dunne is named Butch, and B, why is he just the third man? He's an established name in NXT. Why would you? He's like the background character that doesn't speak. It's like, why? I don't remember anything that happened in this match. Yeah. It was a fine. Again, it wasn't anything offensive. And it wasn't forgettable necessarily. It was just incredibly quick. But yeah. Now, next up was a match I was actually kind of surprised that went on this late in the show, but Pat McAfee and Austin Theory. When this match was announced, I remember this match was rumored to be Pat McAfee versus Vince McMahon. And I'm like, that's not gonna happen, because Vinnie Mac is 76 fucking years old. And then, it was announced that it was gonna be Pat McAfee and Austin Theory. And then, like, obviously, they're not gonna Vince McMahon's not gonna step back into the ring. Yeah, we'll get into that later, but, so basically, Pat McAfee and Austin Theory, they had a fight. They just fought each other, and I really thought they would have Austin Theory win, but they didn't. They had Pat McAfee win, who, by the way, I don't really watch Raw or SmackDown. I get my weekly wrestling fix through, like, Twitter, which I should really stop doing. So I should get my weekly wrestling fix through, highlights and YouTube channels. But, what was I saying? Right. I didn't realize how fucking over as a heel Austin Theory was, and how fucking beloved Pat McAfee was as a, with the WWE crowd. Excuse me. Like, obviously, I've heard people praise his commentary, because he's a very energetic, very fun commentator. But, he's commentating, so you don't really hear the crowd reaction to him. This time we hear the crowd reaction to him. He comes out to Seven Nation Army, by the way, which I was not expecting. Sorry, I just have an itch in my ear. I fucking hate it when that happens. But, I wasn't expecting him to come out to Seven Nation Army. And, he came out to Seven Nation Army with the Dallas, Texas, cheerleaders. Which, that was really cool to see. Austin Theory is the, very, very heated heel. Pat McAfee is the very beloved babyface. Pat McAfee gets a fucking win over Austin Theory. Now look, obviously you want to get the big babyface win with Pat McAfee. So that's cool and all. But, sorry, I just thought of something that happens later on that just makes me laugh every time. I think you might know what I'm talking about. But no. You got a big babyface win with Pat McAfee, but I really thought, they want to push Austin Theory. Do you want to push Austin Theory? I feel like having him lose to Pat McAfee, who's not a proper wrestler. He's very good in the ring, don't get me wrong. He's not a proper wrestler. Austin Theory's big singles match. That's why it was so odd that this match was happening. Austin Theory, this bright new up-and-comer, his big singles match at WrestleMania is against a commentator. And look at the other side, Pat McAfee, giving him a WrestleMania match sounds cool and all, but his WrestleMania match is against bright new up-and-comer Austin Theory. It's weird, but okay, cool. They had a decent match. It was fun. It was entertaining. But I think what this is more remembered for, what this will be more remembered for, is everything that happened after this. Basically, everything that happened in between this and the next match. I forgot to mention, but Vince McMahon was accompanied Austin Theory to the ring. So, then as he was there, Austin Theory was sitting by the barricade, probably contemplating life, and then Vinnie Mac comes up and is probably like, "What the fuck? Why? I taught you better than this, motherfucker! You're I don't know." And then Pat McAfee signaling to Vince McMahon, like, "Get in the ring." You see Vince McMahon taking off his jacket, putting it back on. Taking it off again, taking off his shirt. He's got his tank top and he's jacked. He hops in the ring. He tells the ref to ring the bell, and the ref rings the bell. Vince McMahon's having a match. Then we're in a year. We're in WWE. Cody Rhodes is back. Stone Cold Steve Austin had a match, and Vince McMahon had a match. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. That's nuts. But basically it was just Vince McMahon beating the shit out of Pat McAfee for a while, which I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that necessarily, because, on the one hand, Vince McMahon's a natural heel. And, obviously he gets the big pop. It's almost like, chef comes out of the kitchen, you clap for the chef, Even if the food they're making is absolute dog shit, you still show them some respect because they're in there making all that food. Vince McMahon's the chef here, so you show him some respect. That's why he gets a big pop every time. At least I would assume so. Maybe people just have some short-term memory, I guess. But no. So you get that, and you get a bunch of heel heat by beating up beloved commentator Pat McAfee, and also Pat McAfee I think can take it, because it's not like he's it's not like he's being hurt by this necessarily. It's not like, he's not a regular wrestler, so I guess it's fine you have him take a beating like this. But on the other hand, I mean, I don't know, just something seemed off about it. Maybe it's just that Vince McMahon's in the fucking ring beating up Pat McAfee. I don't know. And then Vince McMahon fucking beats Pat McAfee. And then, Vince McMahon and Austin Theory celebrate. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out. He's on both nights. Obviously not for a match. For a second, I almost thought, it's going to become a tornado tag match. Austin Theory and Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee and Stone Cold Steve Austin. What a fucking... imagine if that happened. What world would we be living in? That would have been fucking weird. But yeah, they celebrate. What I've been laughing about is coming up soon. They celebrate around, and then Steve Austin does a stunner to Austin Theory, and I think maybe Austin Theory might have outsold. I think he beat The Rock when it comes to best sell of the stunner, until we get into when he stunnered Vince McMahon. Oh fuck! I feel bad for laughing at this. I feel bad for laughing because he's a 76-year-old man, so you gotta be a little more delicate with him. But he stunned him, and he's like, "Dude, no, fucking let me." No, he kicked him. And then, Vinnie Mac's, falling back, and then it's Austin's like, no, fucking, what are you doing? Get over here, you I don't know, I just found it funny, because it's it kind of, killed the moment a little bit. I get it, though. Because you have... Because Vinnie Mac's an old man, and I still couldn't believe he got back into the ring. I couldn't believe that. He didn't take many bumps. I honestly think the biggest bump he might have taken was after he got stunnered, where he sort of rolled out of the ring. That sounds like nothing, but it might have been the biggest bump he took the whole match. So yeah, this match, these two matches, and then the angle was something. Yeah. Speaking of something, we got the main event. The biggest WrestleMania match of all time. Whoa! I didn't tweet anything during this, basically. I tweeted something when it started and when it ended. Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, versus Brock Lesnar, the WWE Champion, in a winner-takes-all unification match. Although I've heard that we are not going to have one champion moving forward. So technically, I don't know if WWE knows the meaning of unification, but don't worry. This was, I think it was hyped up a little too much. Because if you hype it up as the biggest WrestleMania match of all time, it's not going to fucking live up to that. It's not going to live up to... It's just not going to live up to that. They got it... Okay, little side tangent. WWE do this shit a lot. They say, this is the biggest thing of all time. Whoa! the most stupendous two-night WrestleMania of all time, which is, I guess, true. This is the first WrestleMania to take place in front of a full capacity crowd that takes place over 2 nights. So yeah, I guess they're right. But it's like, stop dooming these fucking matches to fail. I don't want to say this match failed, actually. I shouldn't say that, but like, stop dooming these matches to not live up to the hype. And you know, you have Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I think this should be their last match ever. They should not encounter each other ever again in the ring. But you know, they had that stare down, and they're probably gonna main event WrestleMania in the next 3 years, I'd say. They're the first 2 people to main event WrestleMania 3 times. Like, this is the first time one match has main evented WrestleMania 3 times. And this is by far their most anticipated encounter. I think it's fair to say, you know, their first one, no one cared about, and then the match actually happened and ended up being really good. The second one, no one cared about, and then the match actually happened, and it ended up being really bad, and still nobody cared about it. This match, people actually cared about it, and it happened, and it ended up being pretty good. Now, I didn't think it was going to be anything crazy. Brock Lesnar matches don't usually typically go for very long. Obviously, not to the, like, they're not as quick as, you know, Goldberg matches, but they're not that long. Excuse me. I'd say they're a little shorter than how long this match was. Yeah, but yeah, this definitely had a big match feel to it. Even without the biggest WrestleMania match, it still definitely had a big match feel to it. You know, maybe due to the fact that it was both the WWE Champion and the Universal Champion, and you know, I'm interested to see Roman Reigns, how they unify the titles. I think maybe I've heard reports that they're still gonna have 2 titles on both brands. They're not gonna have Roman Reigns hog both main event pictures, and I don't want him to do that. Because I like this new act of Roman Reigns, but they're already kind of sacrificing an entire main event division for him on one brand. They don't need to do another one. You know, you've already sacrificed an entire main event division for Brock Lesnar. You don't need to completely take it away. What they could do is maybe add Backlash. They can have, like, they can make him pull double duty and have him, you know, defend both the WWE Champion and the Universal Champion in 2 separate matches. The WWE Champion against someone on Raw and the Universal Champion against someone on SmackDown, of course. And then after that, combines them into one belt, and then they introduce a new Raw World title, the fucking Global Champion or whatever. You go World Champion, Universal Champion, and Global Champion. Even though that's... No. The Multiversal Champion. There we go. WWE, if you do that, be sure to call me and give me a check in the mail on the 1st of every month, because I came up with that idea. Money. But, yeah, no. But, yeah, decent match. They didn't... some cool stuff, like, you know, Roman spearing Brock into the barricade was obviously cool. It's always cool whenever you see that. I like the you know, the announcers, like, you know, Paul Heyman took the mic from the announcer, I don't remember his name, and does the whole, like, Brock Lesnar ring announcer thing, except he does it for Roman Reigns, not Brock Lesnar. And then Brock Lesnar does his own ring announcement, and now Brock Lesnar's got some, like, he's funny. Like, not only is he a good wrestler, is he, like, you know, very intimidating wrestler, you know, like, but he's funny too. Like, he's genuinely funny. Like, I think if he was an actor, if he had acting abilities, you know, I mean, all wrestlers to a degree are actors, but, like, if he was, like, if he was like more of an actor than he was a wrestler, I feel like he'd work well in a lot of like comedies. Like, this dude's funny. I think they should give him some more comedic segments. I do feel, this should be their last match. And I feel like it should have been like a Hell in a Cell match or something to solidify this being their last match. But because also I want to see Brock Lesnar come back for shows like WrestleMania and not be like in the world title picture. This was good and all, and he's good putting other people over, like when he put over Drew McIntyre or Seth Rollins. That was cool, but I don't know. I would like to just see like a big marquee match with that's someone else is with him. Like, I want to see like a big marquee match that someone else has with him. That honestly just like it's a big deal because Brock Lesnar's involved. Because he doesn't need the champion. And I like the fact that they decided to give it to Roman Reigns here. Had this not been a title for title match, actually, I actually thought that that Brock Lesnar would have won. Because, let's just say he lost at Elimination Chamber. That's a lot of losses in a row. So have him beat Reigns. But Brock Lesnar's not the right guy to beat to end Roman's incredible reign. Roman's reign, whoa! But yeah, not the right guy to do that. I feel like we need a big new star, like because whoever does that, they become a megastar within seconds. Brock Lesnar's already a megastar, think maybe a Gable Steveson does that. Maybe someone from NXT, maybe like a Braun Breaker or someone like that. Snaps Roman's reign in about a year or two. Yeah, this was a decent match. I didn't really talk much about the match. Nothing particularly stood out. It was just a fine match all around. Yeah, I'm getting a bit tired, as you can see, so we're going to wrap this up. That was WrestleMania 38. They don't call it WrestleMania 30. They don't number them anymore. They just call them WrestleMania just to make me angry. But it doesn't matter because this was a solid WrestleMania, I felt. I didn't think it was as good as last year's. I don't know, last year's just felt just very solid all around. It didn't feel like there was any filler on the card. And, maybe last year's was just it felt so good because it was the first pay-per-view with fans. But this was the first WrestleMania in 3 years with a full arena of fans. It was definitely the spectacle is there. I think this 2-night thing works with crowds, with a full capacity crowd. You can get into the night one had more people than night two, but that's just gonna happen. A Saturday is just more. People have to wake up early for work on Mondays, or wake up early for school on Mondays. So obviously, like a Saturday night is gonna be more popular than a Sunday night. But they should definitely do this more often, and they're doing that for next year's WrestleMania, night 1 and night 2. I'm happy with this WrestleMania. It was a very odd WrestleMania going in because some of the matches seemed very, very odd, and it was still quite a shocking WrestleMania. We had some great matches. Don't get me wrong. We had great matches like Cody and Seth, Becky and Bianca, fucking Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. That match was fucking bonkers. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kevin Owens had a good match, although that was more of a moment. The Street Profits, RK Bro and Alpha Academy was a great match. You did have some letdowns like Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey and Edge versus AJ Styles in particular. And you had whatever I can call Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory, and then Pat McAfee versus Vince McMahon. Yeah, overall, a very solid WrestleMania, I'd say. And yeah, that'll do it for this episode of DPX Talks for about an hour. I've been talking for 53 minutes almost, but you wouldn't know that, as this is more like almost 2 hours. So, yeah, I'm tired. I'm going to edit this in the morning, because it's like almost 1 o'clock right now as I speak. But, yeah, if you're on SoundCloud, go to my YouTube channel, DPX Solo. Go subscribe. Do understand I don't usually make wrestling content. I actually really basically only talk about wrestling on my podcast. And even then, it's mostly about video games and movies. I love wrestling. I really like WWE. I really like AEW. And, the biggest wrestling event, like, say what you want about WWE or AEW, in terms of, like, big spectacle or anything, objectively, WWE or WrestleMania is the biggest wrestling event of the year. So, I feel I personally oblige myself to talk about it, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, if you're on SoundCloud, definitely go to DPX Solo on YouTube and go subscribe to me. If you're on the YouTube, I don't know which channel this is going up on, but if you're on the YouTube, go to my SoundCloud DPX Talks for about an hour. Go follow me on there. And yeah, I'll be back later this month probably with a general gaming/movie related episode of the podcast. See you there. Bye-bye.